Today on DNVR Buffs Live, the Shedeur Sanders slander is out of control officially. We discuss that and also make our predictions for where each of the draft eligible Buffs will end up. Let's do it. Let's go.
Squad. Coming to you live from the studio. That's what it's called. It's DNVR Buffs Live. Happy NFL Draft Eve, boys. It is, some would say, the best football weekend of the year.
No.
I am someone.
No
Would
one's
you
ever
say
said
that? It's my favorite football weekend of the year. This is when championships are made.
You could also say that Super Bowl Sunday is when championships are made.
Yeah, sure. It's a good
But
day.
it's
one
actually-
game. It's also like reminding you that it's ending, though.
Divisional round is actually the best football weekend.
Yeah.
I have to
But
agree.
this is a fun one. And I am very, very, very ready for it to be over with.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of
man.
people are. I'm excited. Today on the show, NFL Draft Heavy. Buy or sell NFL Draft Edition, predicting all the landing spots for draft eligible Buffs. Buffs are getting a visit next week from another cornerback, but we start today with Shedeur Sanders and the relentless wave of hate, disrespect, slander, any other negative word that he's been facing for his whole life, but especially during this draft process.
Yeah. We said this, by the way, about a year ago around this time. We were like, when Shedeur's time comes, the ridiculous bullshit trying to smear his name that all comes out is going to be off the charts. And I'm going to be honest, Jake, not even I was prepared for it to be this bad.
Me either, bro.
And this latest report, I don't know if we want to actually read it or...
Yeah, if you want. I got it.
Go ahead.
So Tom Pelissero of NFL.com had like a piece, like what he's been hearing about the draft type of thing, talked to a lot of NFL executives, decision makers, folks like that. He wrote a lot on all these guys, got a lot of different opinions. This one, though, stood out. This is just an excerpt from the article. One longtime NFL assistant coach said his time with Shedeur Sanders was, quote, the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing, he's not that good, said one longtime AFC executive. It didn't go great in our interview. He wants to dictate what he's going to do and what's best for him. He makes you feel small. Even some of Sanders' this one never made sense to me. Even some of Sanders' fans expressed disappointment he didn't take a bigger step forward as a senior. Who said that? Last quote. I liked him the year before, an NFC GM said. They did change coordinators. It just felt different. It felt less athletic, less arm talent. Everything felt less. If you're talking about this year's tape versus Jackson Dart and Shedeur, I don't think it was particularly close.
So much here. But let me start with the first anonymous coach here. And this is really the one that's gone viral.
Yeah.
And just say, you're a coward. Straight up. You're a coward. To drag someone's name through the dirt like this anonymously would never fly in any other version of life. You cannot do this anywhere else. You don't just get to talk shit about someone anonymously and blast it out through a megaphone without having to put your name on it, except for in this one thing. And to me, it shouldn't happen in this one thing either. And if I were a head coach and I knew that someone on my staff was speaking about young men like this to reporters, I would be pissed off. There's absolutely nothing to be gained. Nothing good can come from this. There's nothing to be done other than you just have an axe to grind. You have an issue and you wanted to go out there and try to hurt a young man who's chasing his dreams. It's despicable, in my opinion, especially this close before the draft. Who knows when this interview was happening, and that takes me to Tom Pelissero, who I also have an issue with in this regard.
100%.
The hay is in the barn. Everything's already been done.
Yeah.
The work is done. Teams have put in their research. They've done their homework. They've watched the film. They've done the workouts. It's all over. The only reason you would ever share something like this in your reporting this late in the game is for clicks. Straight up clickbaiting people into coming into this hate-filled article. Yep. And to me, our guy Clarence Hill out at DLS said it best. Reporters hear a lot of things. You don't have to report in everything.
Thanks.
And there's a certain tone that you can gather when you're talking to someone off the record or on the record when you're like, wow, there's a lot of emotion in this.
Yeah.
This is not necessarily coming from a normal place. I might circle back around with them and say, like, hey, are you sure this was cool? Or I might just say, like, that was not really, that was over the top. I'm not going to report that.
Right.
And anyone who's ever been in a conversation with a source or whatever has been down that road. And I think that it was irresponsible of Tom Pelissero to put this out again, just a couple of days before the draft, because to me, it's just like smearing someone's character. It's not going to impact anything. One thing you do know, it's going to get screenshotted and posted, and your article is going to go viral. And it's just nasty work by everyone involved, in my opinion. And the worst of it all is it's wrong.
Yep.
That's not true. No, that's not how Shedeur Sanders is. And, you know, whether you've interacted with him in a media setting or you've interacted with him outside of a media setting, which we have done both, he's the same guy.
Yeah.
He's the same guy that you see on the podium when you see him outside, when you see him, you know, outside the locker room or anywhere else. And you could say, oh, well, he knows your media, so why would he show his real self? Okay, well, why would he act like that around an assistant coach? That's even a more important thing for him than just being around the media. So it's very, very questionable, I would say, in terms of the motives of the quote and the motives of the publishing.
It's questionable at best. And it's also ironic. You mentioned this is clearly for clicks. You know what I'm saying? This close to the draft. And it's ironic because that's what people accuse Coach Prime and Shedeur Sanders and the entire Colorado football program, all they're about over the last 2 years is about clicks. So that's pretty ironic. But it just, he makes people feel small, quote, sticks out to me, because the person who said that, you're a small man.
Facts.
If Shedeur Sanders made you feel small, you're a small man. And a lot of those anonymous quotes just sound like people who already had an opinion beforehand, before they even met Shedeur, and whatever happened in their interaction, it was just confirmation bias. And I feel like that's a lot of why this is being put out, and why it's so explosive, because a lot of people feel this way about Shedeur Sanders. And when these quotes come out, people take that as gospel, as it's the entire truth and nothing but the truth. And Coach Prime always says, a lie don't care who tell it. People do not care that this was an anonymous quote, or they don't even care about who this possibly could have came from, but they're taking it as the truth, and they don't even care where it came from. And that's why I don't really rock with Tom Pelissero putting this out, especially, forget the timing, just at all, especially if you've talked to, you know, pretty much everybody, if you're Tom Pelissero's, you know, case, everybody who's within anybody in the draft circles in the league. And, you know, 48 hours before the draft, you put out something this explosive that could do real damage.
It has.
It probably has. And that's real sick. And that is the definition of nasty work. And I'm glad Shedeur said on Instagram of the day, like, y'all got to know I'm used to the disrespect.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He was a 3-star coming out of high school. You know what I'm saying? He was finna go to FAU. And after balling at Jackson State, there was still this stuff about whether he can play at the FBS level. And he answered all those calls. And it seems like every step of Shedeur's career, he's going to have to answer unnecessary and unfair criticism. But at least at this point, he seems to be used to it. But that doesn't negate the fact that this is nasty work. And I think a lot of the times in history, in recent history, I would say, I mean, throughout the history of the NFL draft, black quarterbacks, right? There have always been this trope where it's like, we don't know if this guy can read a defense. We don't know if this guy really has it mentally. He's more of just an athlete. But you can't say any of those things about Shedeur Sanders.
Cook.
You can't say any of those things about Shedeur Sanders. But because he has the elite processor, you know, he models his game after Tom Brady. What can you attack? So you got to make up bullshit like this. Things that we all know who are around him are completely false. But because a large part of the country already has this idea of Shedeur Sanders in their head, it's going to resonate with them.
Yes.
And that's just nasty. And I hate to see that. But again, Shedeur Sanders is built for this. And I know he's not tripping too much off of this. And wherever he ends up, he's going to make a franchise and a fan base really happy.
I mean, that's the biggest, I think, takeaway for me is Shedeur's so unfortunately used to this, like weathered by this type of stuff that I know it's just like water off a duck's back. Like he's just shaking it off type of thing. But
For sure.
He's, like you said, he's going to continue to face this. His first game where he struggles in the NFL, that first pick he throws, get ready to see that memed everywhere. Everyone's going to have a chance to, throw back the arm and dunk on it because that's what they're all waiting on. That's what they all want to do. But yeah, man, it's sick. And it's something that we're kind of used to too, especially last year. This time last year, this was about the time when the hit piece came out.
Yeah.
The Athletic one, and Shedeur and Coach Prime had enough of it. They took to social media, and people can't even like accept them defending like his dad or Coach Prime defending his son. Like they don't accept that. They don't comprehend that. They view it as nepotism and all this weird stuff. When Shedeur and Coach Prime have proven results on the field. So it's frustrating. It's also, I guess, maybe therapeutic in a way to see a lot of people going out and defending Shedeur like how we were to the level last year, because there are people out there who know that a lot of this is obvious bullshit. Like, again, if you just talk to the guy for 5 minutes, whether you're on or off the record, you get a really good sense of who he is. And as you said, he doesn't really change on or off the record. He is who he is.
Exactly. And I think that's the fact that Shedeur handles it so well makes it more upsetting for me.
Or I was going to say for other people that feel like they can't get to him. It's like no matter how much bullshit we say, he never seems fazed. And I feel like that irks people even more. But
that too, what I'm saying is like, I don't know. I just think of this from a human standpoint. Shedeur has literally been working almost his entire life for this week.
Yep.
This is like where his mind has been focused. It's why he's been known as grown since he was a kid, because he was just like prepping for this. He wants to go to the NFL. He wants to be a star. This should be one of the most exciting weeks of his life, and it still will be.
For sure.
But no one should have to deal with this type of stuff, which is untrue. If you are that person,
for sure,
then maybe you deserve it. If you're not, which Shedeur is not, you should never have to deal with something like this in a week that should be so special for you. And I almost feel like maybe like I'm internalizing it on his behalf because it feels like you're right. It's watered off duck's back. But even that is actually a feather in his cap towards why I would want to draft him.
For sure.
There is always going to be, no matter what city you go to, at the very least one reporter who has it out for you. For whatever reason, they're going to write this, write that. There's going to be a column about how you're not the guy. And some guys that's going to irk. Some guys that's going to, get riled up in the wrong ways. Shedeur is
never.
He'll never. First of all, he probably won't know about it. Second of all, it'll just mean nothing to him, even if he hears about it. And it's just an unbelievable skill. And I think about the way that Shedeur treated us and others in the local media here in Colorado. Do you know how easy it would be when stuff like this is constantly being smeared on your name to just say, like, I don't mess with anyone in the media
For sure.
ever.
Of course.
It would be so easy to just do it that way. And I've been around a lot of athletes who did. They took out what someone else did out on us. And it's like, okay, well, we're not like that guy. In fact, we hate him too.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from. You're just done with media now. The fact that he's able to kind of take that, water off a duck's back, and continue to have relationships with people. Again, another feather in the cap of like maturity,
Right.
grown. It's just, I can't believe that this has gotten to this level at this point.
One more thing on that. One thing that actually really kind of irks me and upsets me is when, people like to talk shit about Shedeur or whatever, and he just does his thing like what he does with so many people or did with so many people at the Super Bowl, where he shakes everyone's hand, right? Mm-hmm. And, people put that up there and people respond and go, of course he's going to do that. He's going to try and show that he doesn't have this negative image. But when it's like, that's not even the case to begin with. Like, right. You're just digging into something that he's just doing really out of the kindness out of his heart, because that's just who he is. And then you're going, oh, he's got to do this to make up for blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's such a weird catch-22 that just doesn't even make sense. Like, you're just catching these people in a lie, like, immediately right there.
Right. And if he's acting anytime he's around us, why wouldn't he just put on that act for the NFL teams?
Exactly.
Every quarterback in this draft should send Shedeur a personally handwritten note just saying thank you. Because he has taken all of the criticism for all of the quarterbacks combined in this draft class on his own. I mean, so much so that Tyler Shook is talking about being as a first round quarterback, that people just forgot that Jalen Milroe is about half the accurate passer that Shedeur Sanders is. And 10 years ago, kind of what I was talking about earlier, 10 years ago, Jalen Milroe would have been put in the category where it's like,
he's got to change positions.
We don't know if he can throw in the NFL.
Yep.
But because there is an actual pocket passer, NFL style black quarterback in this draft, and Shedeur Sanders, who people are turned off by for one reason or another, Jalen Milroe is being propped up. Jackson Dart is being propped up. Tyler Shook is being propped up for absolutely no reason, when in any other draft, they would be, 4th, 5th, 6th quarterback at best.
I've hardly heard a criticism about Cam Ward.
It's been weeks, months.
Yeah.
And the only time I ever see a criticism of any of the other quarterbacks is usually because someone's like, how is everyone just showing this about Tyler Shook?
Yeah.
And Shedeur is getting, analyzed down to every last second, when this guy has like throwing picks behind his head and shit.
Well, it's even more ironic too when all you hear from like NFL draft analysts and people who like cover this stuff or talk to executives, they say this isn't a good quarterback class. And then the only one they go in on is Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
Whereas, I can't remember. There was a report I saw where someone said Cam Ward would be like the 5th or 6th quarterback taken in last year's class. You haven't heard a single negative thing about his game, who he is, any of that stuff. And I'm sure there's nothing really even to pick apart with him, kind of like Shedeur. It's just that Shedeur is really, catching all the blame for all this stuff.
The next one, thankfully we're finally past this. The next person they're going to try to do this with is Jordan Seaton.
Of course. Yep.
Because he doesn't fit the mold of what people expect from the highest performers at his position.
He's too loud for a left tackle.
Yeah. I don't know. Should a left tackle be wearing chains like this?
Right. Bro, I was literally finna say, I can't even think of what they could possibly say to slander Jordan Seaton, but they're going to find some.
Of course they're
going to find some.
Bro, it's Colorado. It's Coach Prime in Colorado. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
All right, let's take our first break. New partnership alert. Shout out to the homies over at Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Actually, we're teaming up with them.
Yeah.
3 years to just really pay it forward, right? I think that's one of the best things that you can do just as a human being, paying it forward to the next generation.
Definitely.
And that's what Big Brothers, Big Sisters is trying to do here with us. It isn't just about sports, it's about community. Together, we're combining Big Brothers, Big Sisters, incredible youth mentoring programs with the passion and power of ALLCITY and DNVR's local sports coverage to create something truly meaningful. Partnerships kicking off this week during the NFL draft coverage, but doesn't stop there. You'll see a lot of stuff with us partnering with them, whether it's through fundraising, content, events, all that stuff. So keep an eye out. We're excited to support youth mentorship that really makes a difference. You can learn more and see how to get involved at bbbs.org/allcity.
Really quick, I just want to add on to that. I said this on the Bronco show, and I think it bears repeating. There's talking about community and there's being about community.
Period.
And we talk about community a lot. I think to me, it's a pillar of our organization. But this is really going out of our way to make sure and prove that we are about community. And I'm looking forward to seeing the impact that we're able to have. A lot of people that work here are going to become bigs. As a company, we're with our great community that we have online. We're going to raise money for the organization. And so, like I said, you can talk about it or you can be about it. And this is us being about it. And I'm proud of that.
Hell yeah.
So am I. Well said.
You want to tell people about your Toyota?
Love my Toyota. Best car I've ever owned. Not even close. And I'm about as brand loyal as it gets.
You're a loyal guy, man.
It's true. If I am in on a brand, I'm in for life. And that's where I'm at with Toyota. One of, a short list of companies that I'm just like, yep, they have my full trust. I know that their product is going to completely meet and exceed my expectations anytime that I tap in with them. And I encourage you to tap in with Toyota and go check out one of their amazing vehicles at a Toyota location near you, especially our Front Range Toyota stores, such as AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder. Still haven't found it.
Groove Toyota in Inglewood.
There you go.
Mountain States Toyota in Denver. Stevenson Toyota East and Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Just the last thing. This isn't even a quote, but the fact that Tom Pelissero put this in the article is just crazy. That even some of Sanders' fans expressed disappointment he didn't take a bigger step forward as a senior.
I don't know how you
did you not watch any Colorado football from last season?
Yeah.
I just don't know how you can say something like that as a journalist, like without attributing it to anything.
So, he tied it to that quote with, not to defend him here, but he did tie it to that quote where the guy went in on him.
So I think he's saying, just for clarity's sake, I think he's meaning like his fans that he's spoken to, like in those circles, like the people who liked him before. That's what I think. Rather than like his fans being CU fans.
Yes, that's what he's saying. Yes.
Okay. So people that in drive circles who were fans of him, who liked him.
I think that's what he means.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes a lot more sense. He could have made that a bit more clear, but still, that is still just an odd thing to just toss in there.
It's crazy. He literally topped damn near every statistical category that he had. He took less sacks. The team won more games. That's literally the definition of more productive.
Win more games, right? 4-8. How many times I was thrown on the timeline and hurled at Shedeur's direction, and to turn around and for him to go 9-4, 9-3 in the regular season, go 7-2 in the Big 12, and people still have questions. It was just never about his game. It's just about how you feel about him personally, and that's just a nasty way to go about life, man.
Yeah, it's funny because it goes back to we put out like a tweet yesterday from the Broncos account, like, would you make this trade for Travis Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, to me, one of the most obvious yeses ever.
How are so many people saying no?
People are just so scared of trading picks, first round picks especially.
Yeah.
But I just said like, yeah, if you said no to that, like your eyes just haven't seen what my eyes have. And I feel the same way about this specific quote. Like, he didn't improve. He didn't take a step up from junior to senior year. Like, your eyes just didn't see what my eyes saw.
Period.
And I saw it all, every single snap.
Literally.
Live. And then another time afterwards.
Yes. And then 5 more times on Twitter after that.
Yeah.
All right. The one thing about the 2025 Buffs we have to talk about today, they are getting a visit from Kansas State transfer Noah King. This is an interesting one. I don't think the Buffs have had a player like this come in. They've had players leave the program who just enrolled.
Yeah.
But Noah King was a 2025 4-star recruit from Hamilton, Ohio, 362nd overall player, 34th cornerback in the 2025 recruiting class, the class that just signed.
Just enrolled at Kansas State in January.
Yep.
3-4 months ago.
He has entered the portal. He's listed at 6'3", 195. He's got a handful of visits he's going on. He's visiting Miami, Ohio, Houston, then Colorado next week. So yeah, another player in the secondary who we touched on yesterday. They need 3 or 4 at least more in the secondary.
Yeah.
He is listed as a cornerback on the recruiting site, but then he's had safety at K-State. So
versatility that they covet. And obviously, King chose Kansas State over Kentucky, Nebraska, West Virginia out of high school. So I like the size on him. I'm sure Coach Prime does too. He likes his 6'1" corners and the versatility to play both corner and safety. I think is probably attracted to this recruiting staff. And, obviously still 4 full years of eligibility, still very moldable young talent. So it would be interesting to see if he ends up choosing the Buffs. I'm sure they would welcome him with open arms.
Is he a prince? No, a king.
You've had better ones, bro.
I'm dead.
But yeah, we'll stay tuned. That's honestly, that's about it. It's going on with the team. Jay Gardenhire officially entered the portal. He tweeted out today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you were right. Someone pressed the wrong button at 247.
Yep. And of course, the wonderful Buff Nation fan base just
Never misses it.
nothing gets by him, bro. I love it.
I wish, maybe I don't wish for the people who were involved in this, but I would like to see what would have happened. There was a signing day one year, and the Buffs were in on Kalen Ballage.
Yeah.
I think he's still in the league, maybe.
Yeah, running back, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember.
And it was like everyone was like, that was going to be our big signing day flip if we could pull it off. He was a 4-star running back from Colorado, and they had already made the profile for him on the website just in case to add to the signing day, and someone must have just accidentally hit publish, and it went up, and the message boards got a hold of it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, if that had happened in this day and age, it would have
Meltdown.
gone mega viral, and then when it came out that it was an accident, it would have been Meltdown City.
Yep. All right. Let's call our shots. 8 Buffs. And predicting their landing spots for this weekend's NFL draft. Do we start with the headliners?
Sure.
Let's get it.
Shedeur Sanders. Which team will he be a part of Thursday night?
I'll go first. I have
Okay.
a very difficult answer. I think he will either be drafted. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not giving up on it just yet.
Stand on your
until
take, bro.
I have to give up on it. I still think there's a chance that Cleveland Browns shock the world and draft Shedeur Sanders at number 2. I realize that is not a common opinion right now.
Yeah.
In fact, it's very uncommon and very unpopular at this point. All signs point to Travis Hunter going number 2 to Cleveland. If Travis Hunter is the pick at 2, I can definitely see Shedeur being the guy at number 3. After that, I don't think the Saints are in it, especially after the news today that they didn't pick up the 5th-year option on their tackle, Trevor Penning. They're probably going to be in the market for a tackle, I believe, at number 9. After that, I think the Browns or the Giants potentially could trade back up into the top 20 to draft Shedeur. If that doesn't happen, I think the Steelers at 21 is the spot. So kind of a roundabout answer there. But
Yeah, pick one.
think,
You got to pick one.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I think he ends up a Cleveland Brown, whether at number 2 overall or them trading back into the first round to get him.
Yeah, I think the number 2 overall thing won't happen just because I think that the Browns have a dream of getting both.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting Travis later.
Right.
So they take Travis when they can and then kind of cross their fingers and hope that it gets to a position where they could get back and get Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 as well, and I'll have one be my actual prediction and one be my I want to be able to say it. Hold on.
You get 2 now? That's crazy.
Hold on.
Just breaking the rules. This is insane.
No, I'm
Both
saying,
of you can't talk.
But y'all just told me one and now bro
hold
told me for
on.
that.
I'm
too.
giving you my one.
All right.
But just like you, I'm going to just be able to say, I said this could happen too.
All right.
And I feel like I'm the only person who said this. So I want to say it. I think it could be the Niners.
Okay.
And I think it's just too quiet.
Very quiet.
The fact that that's never really been mentioned, other than I think by us and how cool it would be, feels just too quiet for me. And I think that the Niners maybe are protecting their relationship with Brock Purdy. They don't want to, potentially to know that they could be going after a quarterback in this draft. But if it falls the right way, they would do it. That's not my prediction. My prediction is that he goes to the Giants at number 3. They don't overthink it. They do the smart and sensible thing, and they take the quarterback that will get their franchise back where they expect to be.
The 49ers are interesting because they have been aggressive in attacking the quarterback position. They kind of had Brock Purdy fall in their laps.
Yeah, man.
But,
Can't forget that they traded up for Trey Lance, right? Gave up quite a bit just to try to take a swing to get them to that next level.
And then I think was it at the same draft? There was all the buzz about them trading up to 3 for Mac Jones. Was that the same year?
Yes.
I think he's going to be a Giant. I think he'll be picked 3rd overall tomorrow. I think that the Giants are trying to play it cool as well. There's a lot of common threads that you can find between the Giants and Shedeur at this point. They've spent a lot of time scouting him, getting to know him, working him out. But all you hear about when you look at mock drafts and stuff is Abdul Carter. I think that that's kind of how they want to do it. They want to make people think that they're taking Abdul Carter, then they'll just take Shedeur. Because if you like Shedeur enough to take him at the back end of the first round, why wouldn't you just take him at 3? You're going to risk like the future of your franchise. Like, yeah, we like this quarterback. He'd be great for us, but let's just wait. Let's get an edge instead right now. No one does that. I think the Giants are throwing smoke out.
I would just love Shedeur and Brian Daboll together. I think that would be a perfect marriage between head coach and quarterback, and that relationship in the NFL is of utmost importance if you want success from an organizational standpoint. So, obviously I can see him with the Giants. I think that'd be arguably the best fit.
At least in the top of the draft,
for sure.
I think it is. And
for sure.
For me, it's less about Daboll and more about neighbors.
Yep.
You just give Shedeur someone who's 7-Eleven open. They're going to create magic together. We'll see. Here, and to tie a bow on what we were talking about in the first segment, I want to say this. I'm excited for when the fan base that gets Shedeur Sanders gets to meet Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Like really meet Shedeur Sanders.
They're going to fall in love, bro.
Exactly. Because it's exactly what happened with Colorado fans. And thankfully there wasn't nearly as much dirt being thrown on his name when he came to Colorado, even though it was still there. I've just learned that we're so dialed in, and I mean us, meaning us here and also us in the comments, that we know, we can tell truth from a lie.
For sure.
Especially when it comes to our guys. There's just fans out there who heard one thing from one report on one show, and then they just accepted that to be true, and it's almost not even their fault because they're just not that locked in. They just, oh, wow, Shedeur Sanders is brash and arrogant? Okay. Dang, I didn't know that.
Checks out.
And
Sounds
they just move on with their life and go on to another thing before ever fact-checking it.
Yep.
And so there's going to be a Giants fan or a Browns fan or a Steelers fan who has a negative opinion of Shedeur. And then he's going to show up for his first day of work, and he's going to do a press conference, and they're going to say, oh, I like this guy.
Yep.
And then he's going to go out there and he's going to play for you, and he's going to ball the hell out.
It's the most
And you're going to
predictable.
fall in love with Shedeur Sanders, and he's going to be your franchise quarterback for a long time.
How did he fall to us?
Yes.
That's what it's going to be.
It's the most predictable outcome of this whole thing, honestly.
And when that happens and he has a successful rookie season, this cycle is going to start over again. Whoa.
Yep.
They got tape on him now. Can you do it? Can he do it again the second year?
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to be a sophomore slump? I predict a sophomore. That's what we're going to be saying.
God forbid he loses in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
One time. One time.
He can do it in the regular season, though, but can he do it
Exactly.
in the playoffs?
I mean, look at how they come for Lamar and Josh Allen right now.
Yep.
Two of the best in the
Especially
NFL.
Lamar,
Yeah.
For sure.
Exponentially more Lamar.
All right, we got to take our next break.
Shout out to the squad over at FanStake, man. Today's episode is brought to you by FanStake. It's a new platform where fans can pledge direct support to athletes to help their favorite teams recruit and retain top players. The best part is that it's risk-free. Fans can place stakes for a specific athlete to join or stay at their school. If that athlete decides to go elsewhere, the fans get their money right back deposited into their account. But if the player does go to your school, they're eligible to sign an NIL deal with FanStake and receive their pool of stake money. It's the simplest way to provide direct support for the young core. We're going to want to keep some of these players around for another season and make sure these guys don't transfer. And currently, Colorado is the 5th most popular fan base on FanStake. So So let's get those numbers up. Fanstig is currently offering new fans a free $25 credit, no credit card required or strings attached. And I'm encouraging everyone to join us in staking a claim for our guy Blake Steen, the transfer Virginia tackle who started every game for Virginia last year at right tackle. It's important that the Buffs land Blake Steen for their offensive line here in 2025. Click the link in our description, scan the QR code, or just head to fanstake.com and use promo code DNVR to make Blake Steen a Buff.
Let's go.
And also shout out to our friends over at Volo Sports. Scotty, your playing days officially may be behind you. But if you ever wanted to throw the jersey back on, so put the cleats back on, our friends at Volo have got you covered. The Volo is Denver's most popular provider of adult social sports leagues, pickup games, and events. They got soccer, volleyball, pickleball, kickball, basketball, and many, many more.
Wait, do they have flag football? I'm assuming they do.
And many more.
Bro, I was just thinking about this. Our flag football team would be nice.
I swear to God, bro. I was thinking the same thing. Like, we low-key got a squad, bro. Yes. I'm QB1. We got Deanna running back. We got Benny Fowler, wide receiver 1. You feel me? We got a squad. We just got to figure out an old line. We'll be straight, though. It would definitely be nice.
We'll convert Cotter to wide receiver as well.
Facts, definitely. Some size out there on the perimeter for sure.
You can play wherever in the city. Lodo, Rhino, Highland, City Park, Cherry Creek, and more. Great way to meet friends, stay active, and just get back into the games you love. Players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or full team, and all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome to join. Use code DNVR10 for $10 off any Volo Denver league.
Bro, it's so funny that Once You Go just commented this because as I was trying to rattle off those Toyota locations off the top of my head, I realized for the first time since when I said it that I said I would remember those names. So that's on me. I've got to get that figured out.
You love people holding you accountable, man.
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
All right. Next is Travis.
Sure I have.
I'm just going to say it because it's the last day I can say it. He will be a Denver Bronco.
Hey, let's go. I'm going to take the Browns because that's the obvious answer.
Yeah, he's either going to the Browns at 2 or the Giants at 3.
Yeah, I think he'll be a Brown. There is a lot of chatter, though, picking up. I think it might be Genty related for teams trading into the top 10, but
I want to say this because obviously I don't love the fit for Travis in Cleveland, just from the standpoint of the quarterback situation, right? The quarterback room currently consists of 40-year-old Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, who is just not a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I just envision when Travis gets to Cleveland and it's week 2 or week 3 and week 4. And honestly, I want to throw this in too, because a lot of the chatter, and I think you might have just tried to allude to this, a lot of the chatter is that Cleveland's going to take a quarterback in the second round or third round, whether it be a Dart or a Milroe.
Or trade back up.
Or trade back up for, a Shook or whatnot. And I can just envision Travis Hunter week 3, week 4 with one of those guys, either Flacco or Pickett, or even one of the guys that they draft. And Travis is like, this dude isn't even better than the quarterback that I've been playing with the last 4 years. What are we doing here?
I mean, Malik Neighbors probably said that last year. It happens to a lot of guys.
He probably did. He was frustrated a lot. A lot of those post game, obviously they were losing, so that didn't help. But I wouldn't like that for Travis being in a quarterback situation. And it's a position where you're dependent on the quarterback getting you the football. And he just hasn't had to worry about that being an issue his entire college career. And that could very well be an issue from day one when he steps there in Cleveland. And I hate that.
That's true, but I think this is why Travis should have been in contention for first overall pick. He's the type of player you just pick and figure it out later. Yeah. Even if you don't have a quarterback, if you have an opportunity to draft Travis Hunter, just add him to your team. That makes you better. And you might not see him reach his full ceiling in year 1 because you don't have a quarterback, but that's the obvious need for next year, right?
Sure. But if you never get that right, he'll never reach his full potential.
Sure, and he'll probably want out.
Exactly.
It's just how it works, so
100%.
But no, it's a good point.
By the way, I would play tight end on the team.
Reef had it right. I'll be
second
OC.
best hands in the office behind Benny.
That's cap.
No, I'll be OC.
That's cap.
Jimmy Horn Jr.
You be top 3. Jimmy Horn Jr. I went first, I think, last time, so y'all can go.
Jimmy Horn Jr. becomes a New York Giant with Shedeur Sanders.
I like that. Jimmy Horn Jr. will be a Buffalo Bill.
Ooh, that's fun.
Jimmy Horn Jr. would be a Cincinnati Bengal.
That's also
Another
fun.
nice fit. Let's keep it rolling. Will Shepard. I think he'll be, honestly, a Denver Bronco.
Before you go,
Wow.
Just a reminder, a couple weeks ago, I tweeted that Will Shepard is drawing interest from the Houston Texans, the Chargers, the Saints, the Giants, the Titans, obviously the Broncos, who, he spoke with Sean Payton at the Pro Day. And we heard this week that Will Shepard had a virtual call with the Chiefs. So I'd say one of those 7 teams are probably in play.
If I had to blanket it, I think he's going to be in the AFC West. Honestly, I think that the Chargers really need wide receivers. I
Yeah.
think he'd fit in there.
I think that's the place that I'm picking right now.
The Chiefs, I could see him as a possession receiver. They already have so much speed. And then the Broncos, Sean Payton just loves big, tall wide receivers.
Yeah. I'll take the Broncos. That's fun.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. I think they kind of go back to the receiver well after hitting on Ladd McConkey last year.
LeJohntay Wester.
I don't want to say where I think he's going to go. But I will. He goes to the Chargers.
See, I think LeJohntay ends up a New York Giant.
I think
And him and neighbors, boy.
I think he ends up wherever Shedeur ends up, so I'll say Giants. But
So you guys both think that he's more likely to, or LeJohntay is more likely to end up where Shedeur does than Jimmy?
I think yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I agree with that. I just think that LeJohntay is going to end up with the Giants.
Okay. That would be sick.
It would, bro. Again, Dayball is going to make sure that boy eats.
And
I'll throw another. You go ahead.
I've usually had to do this with later round guys. It's different this year, so I haven't really talked about it as much. But I talked about it when it was basketball season, when I put my stamp on KJ Simpson. I'm putting the official stamp on LeJohntay. Whoever drafts him will be incredibly happy they did, and everyone will be saying steal the draft eventually.
I think I've already put that stamp out there. I'm not going to lie. So
I think you have to.
Yeah. And Reef, that's facts, bro. If that boy LeJohntay end up with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, it's GG's in the chat, my boy.
I'll throw out the Houston Texans, though. Tank Dell is not going to be healthy to play this season. He had a really bad injury. That's what they're looking for. Speed and shiftiness out of the slot.
For sure.
That'd be a perfect fit for him. Chidozie Nwankwo. It can be anyone, honestly.
Right.
This is like too convenient, too easy, but I'm going to say he ends up with the Los Angeles Rams. They call their shot on another undersized interior defensive lineman.
I like that a lot.
Give me the Baltimore Ravens. I think Chidozie is a kind of guy that fits their defensive identity. And I feel like they don't care that he's a bit undersized. They watch the tape and they like his dog mentality. And I feel like he's going to fit a role. They want to be able to stop the run. You're going to have to do that in the AFC. Apply pressure on the quarterback from the interior of the defensive line. So I can see the block bully in Baltimore. That's got a ring to it too. The Baltimore block bully.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll pick San Francisco.
Nice. By the way, really quick, to answer this question from Albert, why is Shedeur not at the draft? Because I've seen some asinine takes about this. Because Shedeur was never planning on going to the draft.
Never was.
Even when he was considered to be the number 1 overall pick, he was not going to the draft. And Coach Prime always said that they were going to have their own draft party. At one point, that was also going to include Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Travis decided he wanted to go to the draft. Who could blame him? But it was never considered for Shedeur to go to the draft. But I literally saw people saying, oh, he's not going to the draft because he knows he's not going in the first round.
So dumb.
Yes.
Cameron Silman Craig.
Whew.
See, this is one where I go Baltimore. And I think that organization just does a great job of drafting players like Cam Craig. And so they're going to put him on their board and just say like, yep, really good football player, smart kid, good leader, checks all of our boxes. We'll take him.
I'm going to double dip on the AFC North and the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Robert Livingston makes some calls back to his old building. It's like, look,
What a
Good
point.
one.
I got a safety. Y'all need a safety. This is the one y'all need.
Yep.
I think Cameron Craig ends up in Cincinnati with the Bengals.
I'll pick the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, that'd be fire.
I've told this story before, and I don't. It's not a good story because I don't remember all the details. But Charles Kelly was talking to me about Cam Craig, and he told the story of a player that he had at Florida State, and the Panthers called him about him, and he said, "Yeah, you should take him, but just make sure you have a roster spot because you're not cutting him.
Period.
As soon as you meet him, you're not cutting him."
Yep.
And I feel like the exact same conversation would happen with Cam Craig. If he was talking to the Bengals about Cam, he'd be like, yeah, you should get him. Just make sure you're ready to have a spot for him because you're not cutting him.
Uncuttable. Coach Parmer said the same thing about Cam. I think he said it last year. He was like, that's one dude, if you bring him into camp, he will not allow you to cut him. He's going to do whatever it takes, play special teams, do whatever, practice squad, whatever. He is just somebody that you're going to, at a certain point, feel that you need on your roster.
Shedeur Sanders.
Dallas Cowboys.
Could definitely see that. Raiders.
Raiders. I'm with you on the Raiders.
Last one.
Raiders.
BJ Green.
I'm going to say BJ Green ends up in Arizona Cardinal.
I'm going to say Carolina Panthers.
I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers.
There you go. Those are our predictions. We do have one more game left, though.
Ooh.
Buy or sell, boys.
Let's go.
Get it.
We ready?
Yep.
All right, Dion, who do we got? Or which one do we got? First up, buy or sell. The Steelers are the best possible landing spot for Shedeur Sanders.
Sell.
Cap.
Sell.
Sell.
The best possible landing spot for Shedeur, in my opinion, is San Francisco. The second best is Los Angeles. And then maybe I would get to the Steelers. Maybe.
I still think the Giants are a really
Actually,
nice fit
I would
for
go to
him.
Miami then.
In terms of they have a weapon who's going to be a premier wide receiver in this league. They have a good left tackle who was hurt a lot of last year. They've got some pieces on defense. I really don't think the Giants are that far away. And if they think the same, I think that's why Shedeur's going to go 3.
You don't think the Giants are far away?
Mm-mm.
What makes you say that?
I just told you.
I wasn't sold. I want to hear more. I'm not going to lie. Can you elaborate a bit
They
more?
dealt with a lot of injuries. I think Brian Dable's a really good coach. I think
agree
he
with
really
that.
knows how to scheme up and make quarterbacks successful. I like how he's shown a lot of like RPO game type stuff. And I think that's really Shedeur's strength is, making those reads quickly. He's going to obviously have to hand the ball off more in the NFL. I think the Giants really, they just need, a running back, maybe another wide receiver, some pieces on defense, and
the
you're
whole
cooking.
back 7, I feel like. But I get it. I mean, I like the Giants as a fit better than a lot of. I like the Giants as a bit better than the Steelers. I'll say that for sure. But I just don't love the Steelers as a fit in general. I've talked about that. Like, other than Mike Tomlin, I don't really see the allure of Shedeur going to Pittsburgh. I don't really love the OC, Arthur Smith. I don't think him and Shedeur would vibe well. So there are probably about 5 or 6 teams that I think are a better fit than Pittsburgh. But he could end up there.
Yeah.
I think it'll work too.
To me, I just want him to go to a place with a offensive mastermind as a coach.
Same.
Because he's never had that luxury.
Yeah.
In terms of he's always played in a new offense. You let Shedeur, you pair him up with Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay or Andy Reid or any of these guys. Obviously, Andy Reid's not happening. But Sean Payton was one that I was talking about last year. It's like he gets that stability. He gets to play in the same offense 4 years in a row.
Yep.
Just watch how he ends up understanding exactly what they're doing like the back of his hand.
That's what I'm saying, bro. If you just get him with a coach who can just consistently give him layups in terms of play calling, because Shedeur hasn't had that in Colorado.
Yep.
He has had to pretty much get everything out of the mud in terms of, passing production. If he can just get, like you said, what is Stefanski or a Daboll, or a McVay or a Shanahan in kind of the best case scenario, that would be the best case scenario for Shedeur.
Next one, Dion. All right, buy or sell. 6+ Buffs will hear their name called this weekend, meaning 6 Buffs at least will be drafted. 5 or locks. Can you get to 6?
So Shedeur, Travis, LeJounte, Jimmy, Will,
BJ.
I will say yes. I will buy that. I think the next name, and maybe even before one of the wide receivers, is Block Bully.
I think Scott's right. I think BJ Green gets drafted.
For sure. I think he's going to surprise some people by how he might go. So I think 6 is a perfect number. I would take that. I'd buy that.
Next one.
Which would probably equal like the last 8 years combined.
For real.
Hell yeah.
Next year's highest drafted Buff will be a wide receiver or cornerback.
Cornerback.
So you're buying?
I think, I'm buying that. Yeah. I think DJ McKinney will be that guy.
Who all would be eligible after this year?
Omarion, DJ, Preston,
Caden.
All of those guys have additional eligibility. Except
That's
for
true.
Caden.
I mean, Arden.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell just because I think both of those rooms are really young.
Okay. I'm going to buy it. I think it'll be DJ or someone like Omarion, and if it's not, I think it's Caden Salter.
Yeah, I just think I just really think DJ's in for a season where at the end of it, people are like, "Well, you better go into that draft. You better not come back." I think he's in for that type of season.
Yep. Next one. Travis will have a chance to break Puka Nakua's rookie receiving record of 1,486 receiving yards this season.
Well, because this says have a chance, that's an easy buy. He's going to definitely have a chance to do that.
I mean, we're going into week 18 and he needs like 80 some yards. Do you think that that's a realistic scenario?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
If we're talking about him going to the Browns? Nope. Not his fault, though.
Same exact line of thinking. I'm going to sell that as well.
I think he has a chance to do that.
He has a chance.
Which is what the question says.
He has a chance. I mean, I wouldn't ever bet against Travis specifically on anything like this, but I would. Why the Browns should be taking Shedeur, in my opinion.
Preach to the choir. I mean, and let me just look up Flacco's numbers last year because I don't think they were great. He was pretty solid in 23 when he was with the Browns.
Yeah, he was actually really good. Almost won me a fantasy championship as a late season
He was
pickup.
a great late season pickup fantasy that year. But last year in Indy, 12 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. I mean, this is again, he turns 40. He just turned 40. 65% completion, which isn't terrible, but.
I worry about the quarterback. That's the only reason why I'm selling. And then I also think that whoever drafts him, especially if they draft him really high, is going to give him an opportunity to play both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be at the expense of the others. So meaning he's not going to get to play 100% of the snaps on both sides. I think that they might let him play 75% of the offensive snaps, 25% of the defensive snaps.
That makes sense.
Would Malik Neighbors have been close with his 1,204 last year? That's about 200 off.
I feel like he missed 2 games.
He did. So, he only played 15.
Yeah. So he would have been right there, I think, if he played.
Where's Daniel Jones?
What's up?
Where's Daniel Jones?
Wherever he got.
Does he have a team?
Is he in Minnesota still?
That is what it is, Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that too. Like, assuming Travis is going to go to the Browns or Giants, he's going to have another really good receiver on his team as well. So
yeah,
I'm kind of thinking maybe the sell there is the move because I mean Jerry Jeudy was literally 6th in receiving yards this past year in the NFL.
And in Njoku.
Is that for real?
6, bro. Wow. I mean he did most of that damage right in front of our eyes.
Yep.
In Denver, but 6 in the. I mean for the whole season that was pretty impressive.
He's got to send Levi Wallace a thank you card.
For real.
Last one. Buy or sell. Shedeur and Travis will play for the same NFL team at some point in their careers.
Bye.
Really?
Yes.
If they're both as good as we think they are, it's going to be really difficult.
But like I said, if he goes to Cleveland,
Really difficult. It's where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
True, but like the reason it happened with like the Bengals with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow was because they were drafted 1 year after each other, though.
But also, Devontae Adams went to pair up with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Not the smartest thing he's ever done, but he did do it.
Because, like I say, if Travis goes to Cleveland, that boy is not going to be happy very long with that quarterback situation. I just know he's not.
Not going to be happy in general being in Cleveland.
Maybe. Probably right. Well, actually, he said today, he said that he was talking about Green Bay.
I mean,
which is kind of similar, though.
Yeah.
He was like, I love places
there's
like
more
Green
to do
Bay.
in Cleveland than Green Bay.
Yeah, he was like, there's nothing I could just get to chill and have fun.
Why
So
in the world did they put the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
even Genty had a quote today. I saw the CHGO guys posted where he was like, yeah, there's nothing to do out here.
I mean, we went like Nashville,
Vegas.
Las Vegas, Green Bay.
Yeah, I know.
You know how hard it is to get to Green Bay?
It's literally the stadium's literally just in the middle of it, like a residential
like a neighborhood.
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
It's in Pittsburgh next year.
I've heard
It's
Pittsburgh's
better.
kind of a slept-on low-key city.
I'm not a baseball fan, but that's one of the ballparks I actually really want to go to.
Because ain't it like right by the water too?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen
Yep.
that shit looks fire.
I've been to the one that's kind of similar in my eyes in San Francisco, and that's a beautiful ballpark.
All right, let's go to the Toyota chat.
Chatsky.
What's up, Gerardo? He says, do y'all think there'll be some personal breaking news / clips / posts on either Travis or Shedeur to hurt their stock, like Tunsil, but different type of news? I think the damage has been done to Shedeur. I mean, what are you going to say about Travis? So
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, actually, yes. Something stupid will be said about Shedeur tomorrow. That's what feels like an easy bet.
yeah. Day Trippin says final round predictions for the Buffs wide receivers. You already got them. Thank you for the super chat, though, Day Trippin. What's up, Cam? Are they really removing... Okay, I saw this too. Are they really removing the Colorado Hill in the south end zone? Would have thought that was untouchable, but video posted yesterday doesn't look good. They are literally... They got like a bulldozer or something on the field.
Is that like where it elevates
Yeah.
that part?
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts on this before I say something.
I'm just going to say I'm hoping that they're just repaving it. Putting in fresh asphalt, fresh paint job, maybe like an actual gold paint job.
Honestly, it wouldn't make sense for them to get rid of it because it'd just be, what are you going to put there?
Some people
few
were
more space.
theorizing seats.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that, but that'd be like an awkward, like 5 sets of seats, I guess. Like you'd be right on top. And plus, like they actually use that hill like during games. That's where like cheerleaders and Chip and like people or that's how the band gets to and from the field. Is that
It's really the only space on the entire field where there's any space for anything.
right? Exactly. Yeah.
I'll cry. Yesterday I said I would crash out. I think I'll just cry.
I don't think they'd do that.
I just remember my first time watching a Colorado home football game, like at the crib.
Yes.
And it was a touchdown. And, you know, when they run it in, like they have to like kind of run up there. I'm like, that kind of looks like a hazard. Like, or especially where it's like, or like a deep pass into the end zone, right? Where it's contested, you know, and both guys kind of end up there. I'm like, that I could see. I don't know if that's ever happened. If anybody's ever gotten injured.
Definitely seen some guys be shaken up, but I don't think injured.
But that was like I said, that was just my first thought. The first time I saw it, I'm like, gee, that could be.
If we're talking about
hazard.
safety, the biggest problem is that the stands are literally 5 feet away from the field.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially on the visitor side.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that though. That would be that'd be interesting. I feel like a lot of people would feel like how you feel.
Yeah, that'll be a big problem.
I'm actually going to Boulder tomorrow, so I'll try and find out for everyone.
Someone that's within the program, just message me and make me feel better about this.
Tech Geek with the super chat. I'm rocking my new Shedeur's Sanders tee today. I'm buying more merch. Shedeur's my new favorite quarterback. I can't wait to watch CU Buffs on Saturday and Travis and Shedeur on Sundays, pushing their TV ratings up. Man,
Fire.
this season's going to be so much fun. Thank you for the super chat, Tech Geek. FPSD says, where's Trevor Woods?
Real quick. Baldy was on the Bronco show yesterday just talking about like how every kid in America is going to want a Travis Hunter jersey. Do you think that still holds true if it's a Browns jersey?
If there's anyone who can make the Browns cool, it's Travis.
Yeah, or Shedeur, but their jerseys are just so ugly. Their uniforms look good.
I don't know, because when Odell went to Cleveland, there was a lot of Odell Cleveland Browns jerseys around. There actually were. I can vouch.
Where are they now, though?
I mean, obviously that, he went to a whole different. I mean, he was only there, I think, 2 seasons. But when he first got there were some buzz. I remember this.
Okay.
Like Drewski, I remember he stayed with the Cleveland Browns Odell Beckham jersey on. So it was a thing, and I can see Travis, kind of making people forget about how much they hate and dislike the Cleveland Browns. I can see that.
It's not about the Browns though. It's about the jersey.
I hear you.
It's just I like the Browns uniform. Like I think they look classic and very football-y on the field.
So do I.
How do you it's not obvious how you pull off a Browns jersey in a fit.
We're headed to overtime. If you're watching on your TV, head on over to thednvr.com. We're going to wrap up the show over there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brown jersey, black jeans.
Yeah, you just gotta go. You just gotta go with browns, like different tones of beige. And
you can pull that off.
I'm definitely
sure
I'm thinking about it right now, but that'd be hilarious.
FPSD asks where Trevor Woods is. I don't know.
Portland.
Travis, I remember this, bro. Just a shout out from an OG Buffs fan. Flew in from Atlanta for spring game. Finally got to meet RK in the stairwell post game. Met Jake, Unk, and RC at the UCF game while I waited for my Uber, and they waited for the DNVR bus. Be back for a couple games. Best tripod. Thank you, bro. That was
fire.
Yeah, we had to take the bus to some parking lot to pull over because we were waiting for Scotty actually to run all over UCF. What a game.
Yeah, I had to walk over. I'm like, gee, where am I going? Where is this damn bus?
If it makes you feel better, I made the same walk, bro.
Yeah, it was great meeting him in the stairwell. It was those are my favorite. Someone's like, RK. Wait for him. Yeah, it was fun.
All right, that's it. That's the last full show before the 2025 NFL draft, and we'll find out exactly where Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter will start their NFL careers.
It's okay, hilarious comment from Cam. That Travis Hunter Browns jersey is going to go triple platinum at college darties and frat parties and whatnot.
Especially at CU.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
Tomorrow we will be live at 5:45.
If you really want, though, imagine pulling up to the day party with the Tristan Da Silva Magic jersey on.
Heat.
That hits way harder than a Browns jersey, though, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying. Dolphins would hit.
Yeah.
Certain jerseys are just tougher to pull off.
5:45 right here in this YouTube channel. I think right here in this room.
Maybe.
It doesn't say. But
doesn't matter to the people who are going to be tuning in.
That's true. We're
Tap
gonna be live
in with us tomorrow. Just know, man, if that card that says Shedeur Sanders' name on it get called number 2 to the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to act the damn fool. Now, granted, it's probably not going to happen, but still, if it happens, I'm going to act the damn fool. Y'all gonna want to see that.
Just to be clear, because Atlanta State Focus just asked, yes, live reaction show for the draft. That is our show for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, that is our. So no show at 1. We'll be live at 5:45, and we're going to go pretty much as long as it takes for both of them to get off the board. And then we will be live. We'll have DNVR will be live for the draft on Friday evening, but I'll be with the Broncos guys. I don't know if Scotty will be there or not. But Saturday as well, same thing. We'll be live in the morning covering day 3 when those guys get drafted with the Broncos guys. And then we will have a pre or post-draft Saturday show for the Buffs.
Yep. And I will be on the tail end of that Broncos show on Saturday. I'm not trying to pull up to try and break down the corner out of Appalachian State that just went to the Broncos.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.